This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Wednesday and it's a freaking fantastic day. Any day a gigantic bigot is 6 feet into the ground. Yes, sir, 16 tones. Good evening. I try to be right on the money. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's just that broadcaster in me. I try to be right at the top of the hour. Sometimes some things happen, I'm a little bit off. But I do my best to hit it right at the top of the hour. All kinds of shit in the news tonight. We got a mayor from the state of Texas stuck his foot in his mouth and is now resigned. You will not believe what that motherfucker wrote. Biden had a presidential town hall or whatever CNN was calling it. He talked about coronavirus vaccines. Right-wingers have ran with this shit about him lying, but they're just clipping a little small snippet of what he said, as always, and they are lying about him. So I'm going to defend Biden on that one, and then I'm going to get really pissed off at Biden for something else he said during that town hall. Plus, apparently Steve Bannon has divulged that Trump had dementia. We're going to watch the demolition of the Trump casino in Atlantic City. Plus my farewell tribute to Rush fucking Limbaugh. I'm sad that there is not a hell for him to rot in. But man, you would think a great American hero died with the way the so-called conservatives are acting. Before we get started, supposedly Parler is back online. You want to see if I can log in? Ooh, it saved my credentials. That's cool. I fucking hate CAPTCHAs. They fired the old CEO. They have a new CEO. I don't know what the fuck his name is. I had a video of the old one whining about getting fired. Ironic, right? Apparently he thought Rebecca Mercer was out to get him. Tell me to rotate my device. I'm not on a... The fuck is this shit? Is it fucking up? Like, this monitor is not 16:9. Is that fucking it up? Parler is janky as fuck. Oh shit! So that worked. Oh, that doesn't... I don't have it set up to where I could do that. Just turn the whole screen. It's because the screen isn't 16:9. It's whatever. This is a square monitor that it's on. Like, I have really nice HD monitors, but then the one that I always watch shit on, this one, is actually a shit, like, VGA screen. Yeah, it works over here. So, okay, I'll get it set up. I'll be able to play around on Parler. This janky-ass website. It sucked so bad when I was on it before. But I'm glad it's back because I was able to get 100, 200 views on a video. Just like that. Just by having, I have a shit ton of hashtags just already typed out in a Word document. Like Stop the Steal, Trump, MAGA, Trump Jr. Fucking. I need to update it because like it was back in the fall, back when Parler was still a thing. So there was a lot of the Stop the Steal and the March on Washington. Dominion was one of the hashtags I would use a lot. Conservative world has moved on to other things. Like I'd have to throw in frozen windmills if I was doing it now based on current trends. Speaking of frozen windmills that weren't actually a thing, apparently. Oh, it took over my screen. It wouldn't let me go to Facebook. If you put in a Facebook link in the browser that Parler is open in, it'll like bounce you out of it.
As we just reported, rolling blackouts.
I'm sorry I have to make you listen to
not working tonight. Texas
douchebag
Governor Greg
Hannity.
Abbott calling for an investigation into the outages, and he joins us.
He's
now
interviewing
live to
Texas
explain.
Governor Greg Abbott.
I don't have a problem. I'm going to be very clear. I'm an all of the above guy. Anything that works, I'm all for. Cheap energy, I'm all for. But that would include the lifeblood of the world's economy: gas, oil, old-fashioned oil, and coal. I'm not against
Notice
nuclear
Fox's
energy,
all-out
but
propaganda
against
assault.
wind
We've got several
turbines.
Fox
The question
videos we're going to play
is,
tonight.
If you have these rolling blackouts and you got freezing weather, I mean, and they're not reliable, and it's use it or lose it, what good is it?
They are reliable.
Sean, this shows how the Green New Deal would be a deadly deal for the United States of America. Texas is blessed with multiple sources of
Now, first of all, this is the third time in the last 30 years that Texas has had this problem. That they've gotten frigid temperatures and not been prepared for it. They were warned about their infrastructure. It was just an instance of them cutting costs. They're doing nothing but scapegoating the green energy. It's a 2-for-1. They get to skirt blame, and they get to further their propaganda on behalf of the oil industry.
energy, such as natural gas and oil and nuclear, as well as solar and wind. But you saw from what Trace said, and that is our wind and our solar got shut down, and they were collectively more than 10% of our power grid. And that thrust Texas into a situation where it was lacking power in a statewide basis. That was power that was spread out by that ERCOT organization that you were talking about. As a result, it just shows.
So even he admits
is necessary.
it's only 10%,
as well as other states, to make sure that we'll be able to heat our homes in the wintertime and cool our homes in the summertime.
Well, and on a second level,
Yeah,
I mean, I've interviewed
they're talking out of both
guys
sides of their
working on
asses.
Keystone,
It's
Leonardo
astounding.
DiCaprio and Scarlett Johansson in Hollywood say, "Well, let's close the Dakota pipe."
But we've gotten to a point where the people that watch this just either don't care or are too stupid to even know. Like, I think there is an element of people that are seeking out things that just it confirms what they want to believe. It's willful ignorance because it helps confirm their worldview. And that's another thing that's a shitty result of capitalism, is that people are now able to go and get whatever brand of news that they want in whatever flavor that suits them. And apparently, a lot of people, the nut job fucking conspiracy theory style of news suits them. Where did the rest of the power go? That's the questions. And what did Greg Abbott know, and when did he know it?
Pipeline. Now they're going to close down Anwar. Well, these are high-paying career jobs.
Did they ever even drill in Anwar?
In the middle of a time when illegal immigrants are going to be made legal, which is going to drive
That's
wages
another.
down.
Okay, so
These are high-paying career.
as I remember it with Anwar, like, when did he know? I'm sorry. You're right. My apologies. But with Anwar, like, drilling companies aren't going to go and drill in Anwar because it's so expensive to be able to extract the oil. So there's no reason for them to do it. So they sell off these permits just because, like, okay, so a Republican president, Trump, sells off the permits to drill in Anwar. Oil companies buy it because they know they're going to sell it back to a Democratic administration, which is going to reverse it. It's just a fucking scheme to launder more public money into private hands. I fucking hate this shit.
Jobs for people. So the question is that the same problem California's been facing with these rolling blackouts? Is that the reason? Do you see similarities?
And I think California is in a tougher situation because
there are some similarities that has to do with privatization.
The Green New Deal type of energy, such as wind and solar, and they don't have the capacity that a state like Texas does to be able to tap into fossil fuel. And that's my point, Sean. And that is, if the Biden administration is going to try to eradicate fossil fuels,
to be able to tap into fossil fuels, if they can tap into fossil fuels, it was just 10%. Then why aren't you making it up? Why was there ever a failure?
That we as a country remain where we continue to provide access to fossil fuels for heating, for taking care of our homes, for industrial purposes, for cities to be able to run. And so it's just foolish to think that we can disband the use of fossil fuel and have a safe and comfortable nation.
We're all going to pay more at the pump. We're all going to pay more to heat our homes. Jobs are being lost, and these countries in the Middle East.
Now, I honestly, now that I'm sitting here watching these clips every night, and I've been doing this almost a year now, I see where all the fucking talking points come from in the comment section. Like, this is the reason why they're all talking about gas prices. I don't know this shit because I don't watch these motherfuckers.
We're paying 100 times more than they are, or a significant amount more. My question is, so you still have 3 million,
and they call me a sheep
out of power right now,
all the time.
Freezing temperatures. How do you deal with the people that need help at this time?
Yeah, Abbott, what you gonna do?
Warming centers across the entire state of Texas for everybody who's in a situation where they cannot be warm. In any large city, at a minimum, there will be dozens, and sometimes maybe
I like that emote.
Warming
That's cool.
centers to help the people in our state. And so we have the National Guard deployed across the state, as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Texas Transportation Division.
Even the goat's cool too.
Wildlife, working with local officials to make sure that our fellow Texans, they will be taken care of during this trying time. But our same goal at the same time
are
is
they?
to make sure that we have ERCOT working around the clock, as well as working with the energy.
I had a guy come to my page today and talk about bread lines in Venezuela, and I'm like, motherfucker, there are people standing in food lines right now. And he said, not in Florida where I'm at, where we've got a Republican governor. And then one of my friends posted all sorts of pictures of people in food lines in Florida. Right-wingers are fucking morons. Hopefully, I hate all corporate media, but hopefully we'll at least get a little more sense out of the MSNBC crowd. With Beto O'Rourke. This is his name, right? Did I say it right? I do like Chris Hayes an awful lot. He's probably the best thing they've got going on that channel. Sam Cedar goes on there when he used to, when he went on MSNBC.
Things are right now, because I've been seeing lots of very upsetting and desperate messages from your fellow Texans in the last 24 to 36 hours.
And it really seems like the GOP does not care.
Than you are hearing from everything that I've learned from reaching out to the people that I've met across the 254 counties of Texas. Folks have gone days now without electricity or water at their homes. They're huddling together in their in-laws' homes.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we get some sense.
Generator power, or they're going to the Civic Center, which has been converted into a warming center, at least as long as there is capacity for more people.
And I hear that there might be talk of Beto running against.
As you know, far too many have died.
Well, I don't know if it's against Abbott. I don't know
What's gonna happen
if
in the
Abbott is
next
running for
24
re-election
hours.
or if it's somebody
Almost
else.
every major city,
But running for
in
governor
tonight
of
will see
Texas.
sub-freezing temperatures, and many of them will not have electricity or power, or in many instances, water. And as I think you pointed out in your opening, so much of this was avoidable. Going back to the deregulation of our electricity grid here in Texas.
Thank you.
Which has created an incentive to actually not weatherize or protect against these events so that some of your plants can be shut down and you can profit from the spiking prices for energy and electricity. And then you have the cascading consequences of these stupid culture battles that are led by the GOP and our governor, Greg Abbott, who's focusing on making Texas a sanctuary state for the NRA, or they're arguing with the Mavericks about playing the Star Spangled Banner at the beginning of their games, or bathroom bills, or other kinds of stupidity, while we have very real emergencies, like a pandemic that has killed more than 40,000 of our fellow Texans.
And those are the ones you have to be on the lookout for.
The vaccine, where folks don't know how to get on the list, this recession that has put millions out of work. And now
give you the platitudes, then get into office and
North America
operate at the behest of the industry.
To warm and power people's in this great state. We are nearing a failed state in Texas, and it has nothing to do with God or natural disasters. It has everything to do with the leadership and those in positions of public trust who have failed us.
Yeah, that point you just made. I mean,
Thank
you. I pay a lot
you.
of attention to Texas politics because I think it's just fascinating. It's such a great state with such great people, and the politics are fascinating. And I was watching over the past week.
I have only driven through Texas. I really like. I was thinking about moving to Austin.
The Dallas Mavericks, and whether they were playing the Star Spangled Banner. That includes Dan Patrick.
Austin's made for. I'm made for a city like Austin.
For your lack of oversight, vision, investment,
way.
and planning with Texas Power Grid ERCOT. But hey, let's make a Texas law to force Mark Cuban's basketball team to sing the national anthem. Priorities. I mean, obviously people can walk and chew gum, but it does seem like, there are way bigger issues for the state of Texas right now, particularly amidst this emergency and even in the medium term.
Yeah, look at Governor Abbott's State of the State speech, which he gave within the last few weeks. He listed 5 top priorities. In them are election fraud, given the fact that we have the safest, most secure elections in American history. There really is no election fraud concern in Texas, certainly not a top 5 priority. You had this effort to make Texas a gun sanctuary state. Nowhere mentioned in those top 5 priorities was COVID or the vaccination rollout or the need to protect our fellow Texans against natural disasters like these. As you mentioned, climate change and the changing in the frequency and severity of natural disasters, from Hurricane Harvey to this cold
Texas
blast right
is
now, to future weather disasters.
prime to feel it the hardest.
What we don't know is whether our leaders are prepared to make the tough political decisions to prepare us for that.
From their land going arid to fucking hurricanes coming off the Gulf. So Abbott is not the only dumb fuck in Texas. So the mayor of Colorado City, Texas. Oh, I'm sorry. I should say the former mayor has got himself into some hot water. Let's take a look at the post first. So this is from former Mayor Tim Boyd. Let me hurt some feelings while I have a minute. No one owes you. Oh. He fucked up. I didn't fuck up, I swear. No one owes you or your family anything. We're off to a great start here, Timmy boy. Nor is it the local government's responsibility to support you during trying times like this. Sink or swim, it's your choice. The city and county, along with power providers or any other service, owes you nothing. That's odd. That's odd. I'm sorry. I thought when I paid my fucking power bill, I was owed a service in return for that. Especially if it's one of these quasi-public-private partnerships where I'm not only paying for it through a fee, but I'm also helping you upkeep your fucking lines through the government. Oh. I'm sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout. I'm sick and tired of people like Tim fucking Boyd. If you don't have electricity, you step up and come up with a game plan to keep your family warm and safe. I'm honest to God, what does he mean by that? Does he mean go out and shoot a fucking bear and like slice it open and then like put your entire family inside the fucking carcass of the bear to keep warm? All those capitalist services we agree to pay separately from taxes, yeah, they don't owe us a damn thing. God. If you have no water, you deal without, and think outside of the box to survive and supply water to your family. If you are sitting at home in the cold because you have no power and are sitting there waiting for someone to come rescue you because you're lazy is a direct... Oh my God, he means you are. Sorry. It's kind of hard reading this fucking diatribe from this fucking dumb fuck. Because you're lazy is a direct result of your raising. Only the strong will survive and the weak will perish. Folks, God has given us the tools to support ourselves in times like this. This is sadly a product of a socialist government where they feed people to believe that the few will work. This guy that's getting paid on our tax dollars to sit in a cushy office, Texas's tax dollars, will work and others will become dependent for handouts. Am I sorry that you've been dealing without electricity and water? Yes. But I'll be damned if I'm going to provide for anyone that is capable of doing it themselves. We have lost sight of those in need and those that take advantage of the system and mesh them into one group. Bottom line, quit crying and looking for a handout. Get off your ass and take care of your own family. Bottom line, don't be a part of problem. 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 Be a part of the solution. I am so happy that I'm going to... But that I know that he resigned. So... Don't a part of problem. Don't a part of... Did I was charitable on that? I was. Don't a part of problem. Holy fuck! Thank you for the correction there. It's even funnier. God damn. In the sense-deleted post, Tim Boyd said he was going to hurt some feelings. The post was made as millions in Texas were without power. Boyd signaled his resignation in a lengthy second post, saying he never intended to speak for the city or Mitchell County, as he was only just a citizen and not mayor anymore. Wait a minute. However, it's unclear when exactly Boyd resigned. The Dallas Morning News reported that he had been scheduled to speak at a city council meeting last week. Boyd said in the second post that his wife has also faced repercussions from his rant. She was fired from her job. She should be. If she was dumb enough to marry you, then she has clearly not got good judgment, right? He goes on to say, I admit that there are things that are said all the time that I don't agree with, he said. But I would never harass you or your family to the point that they would lose their livelihood, such as a form of income. I bet you would. I don't believe right-wingers when they say shit like that. Colorado city government did not immediately respond for comment on Wednesday. Colorado City is a town of about 4,000 residents, 230 miles west of Dallas. I'd never heard of it before. So I'm glad he is out of a job. But even then he tried to lie and say that he had already resigned. Fucking right-wingers are just shameless. All right, so this is Biden on the... Yes. I guess come up with a game plan, take care of yourself and your wife, right? This is not anybody else's job to take care of you. I'll be damned if we're going to give you a handout, sir. Fucking shit.
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder to not look like a kook.
Do I need to retire that now that Rush has passed on? Has crossed the Rainbow Bridge? No, that's only for good puppies. Or do I keep it for a little while? I was so excited to hear the news. I can't wait to talk about it here in just a little bit. I worked for a station that carried Rush. We got some good memories. All right, last night, Biden appeared at a presidential town hall on CNN. This is where he's asked about
new cases of COVID-19.
Vaccines.
Hospitalizations have fallen by half in the last month.
Coronavirus.
So new cases, that's the good news. There's this potential threat, potential surge from the variants coming down the pike.
Is that cross made of 2 hot dogs?
Is every American who wants it going to be able to get a vaccine?
By the end of July of this year, when we came into office.
Rest in piss.
50 million doses that are available. We have now, by the end of July, we'll have over 600 million doses, enough to
2 pepperonis.
a single American.
When you say
2 pepperoni cocks, right?
When you say by the end of July, do you mean that they will be available or that people will have been able to actually get them? Because Dr. Fauci...
They'll be available.
They'll be available.
Be available.
Okay.
Here, look, what we did, we got into office and found out the supply, there was no backlog. I mean, there was nothing in the refrigerator, figuratively and literally speaking. And
notice what he said there. Because the clip that right-wingers share around starts just a couple seconds after that.
there are 10 million doses a day that were available. We've upped that in the first 3 weeks that we were in office to significantly more than that. We've moved out, went to the Pfizer and Moderna and said, can you produce
I guess it's a little bit
more
further on
vaccine
down.
and more rapidly? They not only agreed to go from 200 to 400, then they've agreed to go to 600 million doses. And we got them to move up the time because we used the National Defense Act to be able to help the manufacturing piece of it to get more equipment and so on.
So if end of July, they're available to actually get them in the arms of people who want them, that will take, what, a couple more months?
Well, no, a lot will be being vaccinated in the meantime.
Okay.
In other words,
They
it's not
do.
all of a sudden 600 million doses are going to appear.
Well, if we'd had a
What's going to happen
competent
is it's going to
administration,
continue to increase as we move along, and we'll have reached 400 million.
there was no plan. The Trump administration made no plans whatsoever.
And the biggest thing, though, as you remember, when you and I I shouldn't say it that way.
This is the clip.
When you and I talked last,
So they start it
by the middle,
right here.
600 million by the end of July. And the biggest thing, though, as you remember, when you
The biggest thing, that's where they start the clip.
As you remember, but when you and I talked last, we talked about it's one thing to have the vaccine, which we didn't have when we came into office, but a vaccinator.
So right-wing media is sharing out the tweets of Biden getting vaccinated and shit. Saying, oh, Biden is lying. We didn't have a vaccination. Oh my God, Biden, how do you answer for this? He's talking about Trump administration did not leave any stockpile of vaccine. It's what he said in the previous couple of sentences. That the refrigerator was empty. That's what he meant when he said we didn't have any vaccine. They shipped them all. So Trump had lied about, and it wasn't Trump, it was Azar, had lied about the number of vials that they had in reserve. Turns out they didn't have any in reserve. They were just shipping everything they had out the door just as soon as it came in. So like they had told the press they had like 40 million in reserve ready to go. And that wasn't true. They just completely lied about it. So that's what Biden is talking about. When he came into office, there was nothing already there for him to work with. So they had to ramp up production of the vaccines because the Trump administration was seemingly actively working against us.
How do you get the vaccine into someone's arm? So you need the paraffin, you need the needle, you need the mechanisms to be able to get it in. You have to have people who can inject it in people's arms.
That's been one of the problems, just getting enough people.
Yes, now we have made significant strides increasing the number of vaccinators. I issued an executive order allowing former retired docs and nurses to do it. We have over 1,000 military personnel. CDC is, we have gotten the National Guard engaged. So we have significant number of vaccinators, people who'd actually be there. Plus, we've opened up a considerable number of locations where you can get the vaccine.
That might have been part of it, that they assumed all the ones that were produced were for the U.S. I think that I had read a story about, like, we did not order enough and other countries, like, they offered them to the U.S. first. And the Trump administration said, nah, we have enough. And then the other countries bought them up. So that did indeed happen. So it might have been a combination of different factors. But Biden did indeed come in just like the refrigerator was empty, just like he said. But right-wingers are lying. They're saying like, oh, he's senile or he's already lying. It all goes back to the administrative fuck-up, exactly, that the previous administration was just completely incompetent or was working against us for some unbeknownst reason. He was for the virus. But now, the thing that Biden,
my family, friends,
said last night that I'm going to get a little upset about is this.
And fellow Americans.
Me too.
The American dream is to
kidding.
succeed, but how can we fulfill that dream when debt is many people's only option for a degree? We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. We need at least...
Look at the face he made right there.
What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen. It depends on whether...
Fuck you, Joe Biden.
...private university or public university. It depends on the idea that I say to a community, I'm going to forgive the debt, the billions of dollars of debt for people...
It goes back to the idea that you're from Delaware and you represent the entire financial industry virtually.
State school. But is that going to be forgiven rather than use that money to provide for early education for young children who come from disadvantaged circumstances? But here's what I think. I think everyone, and I've been proposing this for 4 years, everyone should be able to go to community college for free. For free. That costs $9 billion, and we should pay for it. And the tax policies we have now, we should be able
I can't believe that wasn't already a thing.
As a break for people who own racehorses. And I think any family making under $125,000 whose kids go to a state university they get into, that should be free as well.
Well, we're not asking you to make private colleges free. I don't like, he's trying to walk some kind of weird tightrope. But thank fucking God that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer have already pushed back on him. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Elizabeth Warren doubled down Wednesday on demands that President Biden cancel up to $50,000 in federal student debt. The united front from Schumer and Warren, continued from last fall, exemplifies unity between progressives and Democratic leadership as they lobby Biden to take more action to offset economic upheaval during the pandemic. He has to be Pacific. President Obama and Trump used their executive authority to cancel student loan debt, Schumer and Warren said in a statement on Wednesday. Canceling $50,000 in federal student loan debt will help close the racial wealth gap, benefit the 40% of borrowers who do not have a college degree, and help stimulate the economy. It's time to act. We will keep fighting. Thank you. So I am glad that there is not capitulation to Biden's unwillingness. Unfortunately, this is one of the things where, like, Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer really don't have a lot of power. It, honest to God, is in the executive branch's purview to do that. So don't look for it to happen anytime soon, but the fact that we do indeed have some pushback is encouraging. All right, so back to the GOP feud.
Well,
this is Lindsey Graham on with Sean Hannity last night being asked about Trump, McConnell, and their little drama, and Ron Johnson talking about how McConnell doesn't speak for the entire GOP. This really is like high school Mean Girls bullshit. So, Lindsey, please take it away.
Number one, Senator McConnell's speech Saturday, I don't think is widely shared view of President Trump by most Republicans. But remember, you said you're a conservative. A Democratic majority in the House and the Senate with a
the video's fucking up. Lindsey looking awful weird.
For the pro-life movement, for the Second Amendment. We're going back to open borders and asylum seekers and going to have
buddies
foreign policy. President Trump's statement today in response to what McConnell said.
They do have intertwined business interests.
I remind everybody, Ronald Reagan 11th commandment was, don't speak ill of fellow Republicans. Why do people like President Trump so much in the Republican Party? He was a damn good president. He rebuilt the military.
What?
He brought order to chaos at the border. He cut our taxes. He put ISIS, destroyed the caliphate, put Iran in a box, and put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court. And
I know. I'm sorry. Please don't leave.
Throughout the federal judiciary. But I want you to know this. Mitch McConnell was in Donald Trump's success.
Hopefully he'll be in jail within the next couple of years.
With a 2-vote Republican majority. Mitch McConnell is much to credit for Amy Coney Barrett as any single person. Mitch McConnell working with Donald Trump.
Sounds like he called him Bitch McConnell.
They're now at each other's throat. I'm more worried about 2022 than I've ever been. I don't want to eat our own. President Trump is the most consequential Republican in the party. If Mitch McConnell doesn't understand that, he's missing a lot. But my beef is not with Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell understands it. Mitch McConnell understands it, Lindsey Graham. He's trying to malign him. He's trying. I swear it's going to be worth it because I'm going to give you some catharsis here in just a second. I promise you.
Is that we need to knock this off.
It is pathetic.
As the leader of the House Republicans, he's taken a different approach to President Trump. I would advise Senator McConnell to do that, as to President Trump. In that poll, you own the Republican Party, my friend, but 55% of the people wanted you impeached and removed. You are the hope of the future of conservatism, President Trump, but we need some changes to get back to the White House in 2024 and have a...
And Trump is the hope for the future of conservatism because apparently the bastion of conservatism just died earlier today. He did. They talk out of both sides of their ass all the time. All right, we'll move on from Lindsey Graham. And this is fun right here. Okay, so while at the White House, this is from Michael Isikoff from Yahoo News now. While at the White House, Steve Bannon concluded Trump was suffering from early stage dementia and later started a covert campaign for evoking the 25th Amendment to remove him. This is according to a veteran 60 Minutes producer in the Skullduggery podcast. So, okay, so if it was while Steve Bannon, I don't understand what they mean by while Steve Bannon was at the White House, because does that mean while Steve Bannon was working at the White House? Because that was at the beginning of Trump's term. I kind of doubt it too. Do you think it might just be something salacious to sell books? This is one of the many wild stories Rosen relates in his new tell-all Ticking Clock. Don't miss his damning portrait of the correspondents he worked for, as well as his bizarre encounters with Ghislaine Maxwell of Jeffrey Epstein fame. I kind of with you, Warlord. I kind of doubt it. All right, you guys ready for some fun? Yeah, this is like that whole drama going on at that time. The stories that are going to be written about that. $1:47. I marked down the timestamp here. I fucked up the video. So this is Trump Casino in Atlantic City. If it's going to play for us. Here we go. The Trump Casino in Atlantic City earlier this morning. I had just the little clip of it happening, but I was like, no, we gotta go get the full thing. We gotta watch it and savor it. 1 minute. It's the final countdown. Wait for it. I wonder how many people watched this morning. This was like a big time event, wasn't it? It did. It left gracefully. That was fun.
Okay, everybody grab a shovel and a broom and head on over there.
Everybody grab a shovel? No way! You can go over and shovel it? I would do that. That'd be fun. Trump totally didn't watch that, did he? Ah, that's fun. Unfortunately, we've got to go back to Fox News now. It's not fun. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. On with, I don't know who this woman is. I only watched a second of this.
Now is the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem. Kristi, thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. I sure appreciate it.
It would have been awesome if there had been a bunch of people there like trying to stop the explosion, stop the explosion.
What we saw in the former Soviet Union and Cuba, in California last summer, is this what we can expect in a, Joe Biden America that's pushing all these green energy policies?
Well, listen, I've always been a supporter of diversified energy. I think it's critically important that we prioritize.
They are going hard on the Cuba, Soviet Russia.
Coal and oil and gas, and I think that's dangerous. We should be supporting energy that's generated here in the United States, so we rely on our own sources, but also we don't put all of our eggs in one basket. We make sure it is diversified so we don't have the situation that we...
I can already tell you, I do not like her. I don't know who she is.
But it's not consistent. And that's
she is rubbing me the wrong way.
Electricity to support the system and the grid so that families can make sure they can...
I like her glasses, though.
Absolutely. So tell me really quickly, because I know that you know we're in the middle of this pandemic. The Keystone Pipeline.
Does she know we're in the middle of a pandemic?
Joe Biden, got rid of. So how is it affecting your state, and why the heck would he do that in the middle of a pandemic when we don't really have replacement jobs?
Well, it was interesting because the pipeline was being built through the state of South Dakota. In fact, they had already built a couple of pumping stations. They had the pipeline laid out, ready to be installed. And then when he pulled the permits, everything just stopped. There were so many families who told their stories in recent days about the devastation to them and their incomes and their businesses.
Like the fake cowboy we saw on Fox News.
And gas stations that had expanded, and getting ready for the workers that were going to be here for the next several years building the pipeline. They were excited about the opportunities to get the property taxes in these local small schools from the pipeline. It was always going to be a source of revenue that would help them keep their roads fixed, keep commerce going, and make sure that they're...
The property taxes from the pipeline.
These remote areas where economic...
She just said herself that the workers were temporary, that they were, staying there. What property taxes?
And I think for a lot of families in the state of South Dakota, it was devastating. For me in particular, I see all sides of it as well. It was a critical piece of infrastructure that gave us...
Oh my God. Also, I'm going to have to switch back to the old camera. Like this one keeps
efficiently
glitching out and doing weird shit.
Protect the environment. Listen, this pipeline was safer for the environment than how we're moving this oil today. It was safer.
We shouldn't be moving that oil at all.
By rail and by truck line, and it was going to bring down the cost of gas and oil in this country, which is so important.
Bullshit.
That try to pay their bills every month.
So, Governor, you're not just a politician, you're not just a governor, you're also a rancher. And we had that interview with Bill Gates earlier. He says that we need to stop eating beef. So I want you to see this clip, but I want to come back on the other side with you on that.
What?
This company, Nature's Find, is using fungi, and then they turn them into sausage and yogurt. Pretty amazing.
When you say fungi...
Well, yeah, we probably do need to start growing a lot of shit in labs.
So how would fungi micro burgers go over in South Dakota?
Well, I mean, I like mushrooms, but I like my beef too. So,
you like them on top
in
of
South
the burger.
Dakota, the cattle industry is incredibly important to our state, of course. But here's the situation:
why do can we tax Bill Gates? Can we take his fucking money? Why are we even listening to Bill Gates anyway?
Inefficiencies in generating food like that, and how expensive.
Who gives a shit?
for the average everyday family. So,
it's just another boogeyman that Fox can use.
It's also important that a family can go to the grocery store and afford the food that they need to put on their table to take care of their kids. And that's the balance that
I wish I could still use XP.
Is that for me, food policy's always been national security policy. It's important that we grow our own food in this country so another country doesn't control us. It's also important that it's diversified so that we don't have a shortage of one area and it becomes too expensive for families to actually.
Now. My first computer was like Windows Millennia or something like that.
Battle here, right, where you have the Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney.
That was the worst OS.
Forget Trump. We need to move on. We need to change the Republican Party. But I live not very far from where you live, and that's certainly not what I'm hearing out there. So tell me what you think.
I think what people want is a Republican Party that
I think XP was the one after the OS, because like mine was the one in between 98 and XP.
The policies that we say we believe in.
The very first computer, I like my actual personal computer.
Repealing Obamacare, and we haven't done it. We've talked about doing
ME.
reform.
That was the absolute worst OS.
And we haven't done it. So that's what I think the last several years should teach Republicans, is that we're tired of politicians. We're tired of people that stand up.
You say you're tired of politicians, well, why don't you resign? Get the fuck out of here.
The administration did is they took action, and people realized that they liked that, and they liked.
I'm tired of you as a politician, ma'am. And I'm afraid that she's only going to become more and more prominent within the Republican Party. She almost certainly will be a senator or in the running for president. Oh, okay. So, crazy shit. Last night in Portland, police officers guarding Fred Meyer dumpsters as residents seek discarded food. This is from the Oregonian. The police finally did let them through to be able to salvage a bunch of shit that was going to go bad. Oh, I'm sorry, this wasn't yesterday. This was Monday, February 15th. They had a standoff with police before. Roughly a dozen Portland police officers faced off with a small group at a northeast Portland Fred Meyer on Tuesday after people tried to take food that had been thrown away. Workers at the Hollywood West Fred Meyer threw away thousands of perishable items because the store, like many others, had lost power in an outage brought on by the region's winter storm. Images on social media showed mountains of packaged meat, cheese, and juice, as well as whole turkeys and racks of ribs. A few people gathered about 2:30 at the store in hopes of salvaging the food. But within hours, people seeking food from the dumpsters began to report police officers showing up to guard the dumpsters and prevent people from taking the items. So about a dozen officers arrived. On Wednesday, Portland police said officers were sent to the scene after employees said they felt the situation was escalating and feared there might be a physical confrontation. Also on Wednesday, a Fred Meyer spokesman responded to what had become a deluge of criticism, noting that the company donates more than 5 million pounds of food annually. Suck it, motherfucker! You know they're in the wrong if they start bragging about their philanthropy. Holy shit. Now, what could Christians be doing with their time while there are police guarding dumpsters of food for hungry people? Do you think Christians are helping out the people? Or do you think Christians are doing dumb shit? Like starting the church at Planned Parenthood.
One group is on a mission to put a stop to abortions. They're called the Church at Planned Parenthood, and they hold services outside of Planned Parenthoods across the country. And tonight, they held one here in Knoxville. WAT6 on your side reporter Jordan Brown was there and has more.
A whole bunch of maskless motherfuckers traveling around the country.
We are asking for mercy.
Seems smart.
And
at least I did see one mask back there.
And we like to do it right here as close as we can to the abortion facility because it makes it real.
They're here to fight abortion. Their weapon of choice, prayers.
We literally feel the spiritual warfare.
I know. I cannot stand these fucks.
So when we go to a place that we feel has evil going on in it. Now, not everybody's evil, in it, but you can.
No, I can tell you who the evil people are. It's you.
Adds to the intensity and the passion.
This demonstration isn't exclusive to Knoxville. Pastor Ken Peters started the church at Planned Parenthood almost 3 years ago in Spokane, Washington.
I want to start the church at Planned Parenthood.
And gaining a following as he.
And our religious ritual is to piss on these people.
For us to be able to gather together as citizens of the United States, as concerned people.
And it's in the First Amendment that you can't silence my religious right.
While they make it clear this is not a protest, bringing a church service to a Planned Parenthood, they say, sends a clear message.
And it's our way.
That you're idiots.
For the glory of God, traffic comes by, they see us worshiping. It also shines a light on what we believe is an evil industry.
In Knoxville, Jordan Brown, WATE 6.
I wanna read something. Let me find it here. Because all these right-wing motherfuckers are doing is acting pious. They're doing something where they don't have to expend any effort other than going have their little church service and terrorizing people. It's just a way to act pious without challenging your own privilege. This was a post, I guess Dave Barnhart was the original post here. The unborn are a convenient group of people to advocate for. They never make demands of you. They are morally uncomplicated, unlike the incarcerated, addicted, or the chronically poor. They don't resent your condescension or complain that you're not politically correct. Unlike widows, they don't ask you questions. They don't ask you to question the patriarchy. Unlike orphans, they don't need money, education, or child care. Unlike aliens, they don't bring all the racial, culture, and religious baggage that you dislike. They allow you to feel good about yourself without any work at creating or maintaining relationships. And when they are born, you can forget about them because they cease to be unborn. You can love the unborn and advocate for them without substantially challenging your own wealth, power, or privilege, without reimagining social structures, apologizing, or making reparations to anyone. They are, in short, the perfect people to love if you want to claim to love Jesus, but actually dislike people who breathe. Prisoners, immigrants, the sick, the poor, widows, orphans, all the groups that are specifically mentioned in the Bible, they all get thrown under the bus for the unborn. Because it's all about making a show. And they think it's easy just to call you a baby killer. They think it's a winner in an argument. They're intellectually dishonest. Lazy, pious pieces of shit. And anytime I hear anybody mention abortion, I just automatically dismiss them. It's 2021. We're past that argument. You're stupid if you bring up the unborn or call Democrats baby killers. And I have no time for you. Now, unfortunately, we're going to talk about some child exploitation here. Claudia Conway was on American Idol. And apparently it's caused some kind of an uproar. Now, this was taped back in the fall, long before the fallout between Kelly and Claudia. But knowing what we know about what has happened in this family since this taping and this airing a night ago, 2 nights ago, this was highlights of her audition from American Idol.
Kellyanne Conway's teenage daughter makes her American Idol debut.
My parents are high-profile political figures.
This is creepy as fuck.
President Trump's former aide spoke to 16-year-old Claudia before the audition.
And ready to go, baby? You excited? Yeah, but I'm really, really nervous.
Her father, George Conway, an attorney and Trump foe, was at the audition with Claudia.
I couldn't imagine anything that would make her happier than to do this. So, you know.
Oh, George.
Goes so well when Claudia sang Rihanna's Love on the Brain.
You got me like, oh, oh.
Okay, stop. All right, that song, you lost it.
I did, yeah.
You
I was just
did.
a little nervous in my
That's
shoes.
okay.
A little.
Take your shoes off.
But she tried again, this time with Adele's When We Were Young.
My God, this reminds me of when we were young.
And guess what happened?
Claudia,
Hi.
not going to D.C., honey. You're going
Quagmire Glenn.
I made it. I'm going to Hollywood. Yes.
Kellyanne.
They let her through? No fucking way.
I'm really proud of you. Love you. I love you.
No way. Ah, like she was not good. What? That poor girl. They let her through just because it's controversial. You're right. That was all staged, wasn't it? Fuck. They knew they were going to let her through. They wanted her on the show. It's a reality show. You got to have the drama. Jesus Christ. Oh shit. Before we get started with my finale tonight, we do have a phone call. Caller. You're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
You're a fucking nigger.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, niggers are weird.
What would make someone call up and call me the N-bomb?
Listen, I don't want to just say the N-bomb. I just want to say you're cute. You're kind of a cute-ass nigga. Yeah, I want to lay your cheeks down, spread them.
Oh, I mean,
come on your daughter.
I'm mainly a top, but I do switch sometimes.
That's some faggot shit. Fuck you, gay. Tops are faggots. Fucking gay faggot fuck. Fuck you and your faggot fuck.
Oh, you say it like it's a bad thing. I totally suck dick.
Dude, okay, I have a dick, but no, you're a fucking faggot.
You sound highly effeminate for somebody to be calling me a faggot.
I'm a child molester. Yeah, I got a dick fetish, man. I mean, nothing. Only for children.
That's some weird things to be saying, like, for all the world to hear. You're probably going to get a knock on your door by the FBI.
Only fucking person. What's your stream? What's your stream even called? Like, what? I'm not even watching. What's it called?
It's called the Troll Patrol. What do you call a show that you're not even watching?
Wait, what the fuck is it called?
The Troll Patrol.
Okay, well, you're not.
Can you do me a favor and take me off speakerphone? Like, I'm echoing. It's kind of annoying.
Huh, nigga?
Can you take me off speakerphone? I'm echoing and it's kind of annoying.
What do you mean? I don't hear you in the fucking back. That's yo, ass retard.
What?
Is that better, nigga?
Yes, thank you. So what inspired you to call in tonight?
Pardon?
What inspired you to call in tonight? If you're not even watching the show.
My genuine hatred for your kind.
What's my kind?
Child molesters.
You think I'm a child molester?
Bro,
I hate children. Nobody lets me around children. What the fuck? Look at me. No. I fucking hate kids.
Bro, I saw you on White Pages, huh, nigga?
On what?
White Pages.
What? I'm old. White Pages is a phone book to me.
Yo,
You guys are bombing hard right now.
Can I jam my dick in you?
Maybe. I mean, it depends on what you look like.
Bro, okay, you just got baited. I am 13. You just got arrested, my nigga. Your whole career over.
Oh, you better not be 30. You shouldn't be watching my stream if you're 13. This is an 18+ stream. It says it everywhere, so I'm covered.
Bro, I'm gonna make out with your ass, like your booty hole.
So you like to eat ass?
18+, more like I'm gonna make out with your fucking daughter. She looks hot as fuck. Oh wait, no, you would never have offspring, you ugly fuck.
No, I wouldn't have all the. I hate children. I just told you that. I told you that. I get off of this show, I'm going to go make a fucking steak on the grill, and then I'm going to smoke a goddamn bong, and I'm going to play video games all night. That's what a grown-ass adult that doesn't have kids and has disposable income does.
Bro, I'm not even paying attention to what you're saying, bro. Shut the fuck up, you ugly bitch. I'm going to run you over in my fucking truck, you ugly bitch.
I thought you said you were fucking 13. I didn't know that you had a truck.
Your mom, your auntie, you know your auntie Sarah? That my hoe.
My auntie Sarah? I don't have an auntie Sarah. Are you just seeing how far you can push it before I'm going to hang up on you? Is that it?
Nigga dick till he really sees.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised I've let this go on this long?
Suck that nigga dick till he go retarded.
Are you surprised that I have let this go on this long?
I go down there.
Are you amazed I haven't cut you off yet? Is that what's going on here?
No, I wanna lay it on fire and I want that shit to smell like a burning tire. I want that nigga dick in my mouth. I want him to go from the north to the south all over my body.
I'm not high enough for this shit.
I want that nigga to be licking me like a cup of salami.
Like a cup of salami? What?
Like I bet you. All over my body. I'm not high enough for this shit. I want that nigga to be licking me like a cup of salami. Like a cup of salami? What? Like I bet you. All over my body. I'm not high enough for this shit. I want that nigga to be licking me like a cup of salami.
You gotta do something about the delay or I'm gonna cut you off. Yeah, that's gotta go. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You too can call into the Troll Patrol. So please, at least try to be witty about it. 917-830-4359, or the Discord is open. If not, we're going to do our little tribute. One of the legends in the broadcasting industry, motherfucking Rush Limbaugh. I'm sure everyone is aware Limbaugh passed away earlier today at the age of 70.
Philadelphia Eagles quarterback.
Let's take a look, a little retrospective. I think this was put together by the Washington Post.
Freedom is killed off by people claiming that the greater good or the general will or the betterment of the community requires speech patrol.
Rush Limbaugh called himself America's anchorman and a doctor of democracy. He was
a doctor of democracy,
whose bombastic presence made his radio show one of the most popular in history.
He said a number of things that people didn't say on the airwaves, but might have.
I wouldn't, and like, here's the thing, is that left-wing talk radio actually does better in the ratings than right-wing talk radio. It's just that left-wing talk radio doesn't get advertising. Carlott's, like, and that was one of the reasons why, like, I was in consultation with a radio station a few years ago about doing a show, and that was what it came down to, was that I was going to have to pay to do the show myself and have to go out and sell it myself, because they said we can't put car dealerships, we can't put McDonald's, isn't going to fucking advertise on you. And that's the whole reason. So Rush Limbaugh isn't just the most popular. It's basically that the advertising, the people that pump the money into talk radio, preferred his messaging
said in the dark of night.
And then he was on all the fucking stations.
What was refreshing to his audience.
I'm pretty sure he was in every fucking market.
Things out loud.
The Rush Limbaugh Show became nationally syndicated in 1988 and is often credited with saving AM radio and leading Republican politics into a new era.
Talk is cheap, and that's what Rush Limbaugh really brings to the airwaves. A 3-hour talk radio program in which it's basically him talking into a microphone.
Limbaugh was known for his controversial statements, be them about politics, women, or minorities. His relentless bashing of liberals helped shape a generation of conservative...
Ugly as fucking tie.
Is a once in a generation.
That tie's ugly too.
It's a combination of smarts, personality, and extremism.
You've also been called arrogant and pompous.
Well, I call it confidence.
And you can certainly argue with the things he said as to whether you agree with them or whether they were proper for...
Where in the fuck did that... You know that man has a little dick. Where did he get confidence from?
Parkinson's disease.
He is moving all around and shaking, and it's purely an act.
He pushed the baseless birther conspiracy theory about Barack Obama. He made race-related comments about then Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Donovan McNabb.
He had his own line of ties? God, that one's ugly too.
I think what we've had here is a little social concern in the NFL. I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well.
Which ultimately forced Limbaugh's resignation as a commentator on ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown. In 2015, Limbaugh attacked Georgetown University law student Sandra Fluke. Congressional Democrats had invited her to speak in support of contraceptive coverage mandates for health insurance companies.
Which should be mandated!
Contraception, as you know, can cost a woman over $3,000 during law school. For a lot of students who, like me, are on public interest scholarships, that's...
And it's not just about sex, but even if it was just about sex, it still should be covered.
Slut, right? Makes her a prostitute. She wants to be paid to have sex.
Republicans and Democrats...
By the way, Rush got caught in the Caribbean.
That the remarks that were made don't have any place in the...
With Viagra, not in his name.
Some of his advertisers. Limbaugh later apologized, but maintained that he was unfairly criticized.
The apology to her over the weekend was sincere.
The fuck it was.
Never really abandoned him. I'm sure some disapprove, but most thought that was part of the Rush Limbaugh shtick.
Limbaugh had notable influence in the Republican Party. His millions of listeners were mostly conservative. Before Trump's presidency,
Jordan Peterson concert? Is that what you're saying?
Officials to hard lines on issues such as immigration, government...
Is that JBP?
Despite not initially endorsing
the 2016
primary, he later fully embraced him as the future of the Republican Party.
We are all...
Rush cheated on his dying wife.
Trump surprised Limbaugh at his 2020 state.
I think that was his second wife.
Awarded him the Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor.
Exactly. And that's all it... All that was him doing that apology was to give his listeners cover. Oh, he's not a bad guy. He apologized.
And that you inspire. And all of the...
And this is a shame that he was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential...
Complete bullshit.
This came days after Limbaugh announced his...
Oh, and he's acting like he's shocked. He knew he was getting it.
Lung cancer wasn't Limbaugh's first health-related battle.
Gigantic piece of shit.
In 2001, he went deaf from an autoimmune disease, and for months, he continued on air with the help of his staff and a teleprompter. He ultimately received a cochlear implant.
I'm 100% deaf, and I can only hear bionically with these.
Limbaugh also had bouts of addiction to pain medication, and later went to rehab. He told his listeners about his lung cancer in February 2020.
But the upshot is that I have been diagnosed with advanced...
Yeah.
He had signed a...
This would have been back in like, what, October, September or something like that?
He will be remembered as a giant...
I think he already knew he had cancer, but like that was when he knew it was terminal.
And people will argue over his legacy.
Because like they had been treating it, and I don't think he had told like the public.
Personality was something that few people could project on the air and attract an audience as large as the one he did.
This tribute graphic is like, I wish I could piss on it right now. Donald J. Trump crawled out of his hole this afternoon to call into Fox News and give his thoughts.
President Trump, are you with me?
I am, and it was a great honor to do so. When we gave the Medal of Freedom, it was something special. It was an incredible night. We gave it during the State of the Union address, and it was especially half the room. Half the room went crazy, and the other half the room, they knew he should get it. But it was special, and he was special.
Mr. President, thank you for joining us. When was the last time you spoke with Rush Limbaugh?
3 or 4 days ago. I'd call him just to find out. His fight was very, very courageous, and he was very, very sick.
There was nothing courageous about that sack of
It was
shit.
just something that was not going to be beaten, but you wouldn't know it. And he is married to an incredible woman, Catherine, who really, every time I spoke to him, he would tell me how great she was.
Who mocked the deaths of people.
He was very brave. I mean,
AIDS victims.
He could have been gone 4 months ago, really. He was fighting till the very end. He was a fighter.
While
and
you
just a great gentleman.
while you were in the White House, how did
He was a bigot, a racist,
either
a misogynist.
on your message or chose to agree or disagree with the policies you had as commander-in-chief?
A lying sack of shit.
Just had Sean on, Sean Hannity, who's incredible. And Sean would say there is nobody like Rush. Sean was the first to say that I used to say, well, what do you think someday? And he'd say he's irreplaceable. Rush is irreplaceable, unique. He had an audience that was massive. And, he could do something.
It wasn't that massive.
He would get up in the show.
Saying the audience is massive once again because, like,
take phone calls where
it's on in every market.
And that's sort of easy to do. He would just talk for 2 hours and 3 hours, just talk. And that's not an easy thing to do. And I once asked him, I said, do you study for the show? And he said, actually, I study very hard, which a little bit, Harris said, a little bit surprised me. But he was a fantastic man, a fantastic talent.
Why would that surprise
people, whether they loved him or not?
Fucking Trump is a complete and total idiot. No one in the broadcasting business would be surprised about the fact that Rush does show prep. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's your thoughts on Rush Limbaugh?
Don't fucking talk about Trump nor Rush Limbaugh. You don't know shit. Those are my baby daddies. You better take their fucking name out of your fucking mouth before I stomp your fucking jaw, you ugly bitch.
Are they paying child support?
Yes, they are paying child support.
How much did your mom take him to the cleaners for?
What's good?
Are they paying child support?
What's up, partner?
Yeah, we're done with that shit tonight. Try harder. The Rush's final show was on February the 2nd. Despite what we may think about him, and I think he was a gigantic piece of shit, it was still broadcasting history.
Trump wants a...
So this is a segment from his final ever broadcast on February the 2nd.
Library. He must never have one. That's the headline of the story. It's a long story. It
Trump's
goes
shut.
Blah, 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 blah. And they are they're deathly afraid that Trump is going to triumphantly return to public life. And I'm not saying triumphantly return to the presidency, but they're not going to be able to stop this. They're not going to be able to stop Trump from having a public life if he wants it.
I don't know about that. I think he's going to be tied up in
and they are waiting
court battles.
Fear for that. They don't know how it's going to manifest. They don't know if it's going to be a press conference.
That's true.
From Mar-a-Lago or a golf club. They don't have the slightest idea. So they're trying to ram through this impeachment business so that they can.
He has lost a lot of weight from just the clip that we saw of him from the fall where he's talking about being diagnosed to now. This was on the second.
He must never have. Who are these people?
Like, look at the way his shirt's just kind of falling off of him. It's kind of hanging there.
If he can raise the money for it, then he can do a library. That's how it happens. You know who bankrolled many ex-presidents' libraries in the, shall we say, 2000s and the 1990s? Do you know who did it?
Saudi Arabia?
You know who the primary funders or bankrollees were?
I bet he's going to say the Clinton Foundation.
No, it was not Mr. Soros. It was Prince Bandar El Sultan and his friends from Saudi Arabia.
I was right the first time. Hell yeah.
Do I need to remind you that the king of Saudi, the late king, King Abdullah Abziz El Saud, whatever.
See, he knows what he's talking about.
George W. Bush.
He certainly does do research.
Texas Ranch. And while he was here, the ambassador to the United States from Saudi Arabia was Bandar bin Sultan. I think that was.
I can tell. Like, it's not.
And the Saudis were worried.
No, Rush is most certainly dead. This is the very last video clip of Rush Limbaugh ever.
But no,
thankfully,
the king of Saudi Arabia was for Clinton, I think. I don't know if it was major, but I know he was a participating fundraiser, donor. And the same thing for George W. Bush and maybe George H.W. Bush. That's one of the reasons for the alliance.
He's had a series of guest hosts most of this year.
The point is, if you can raise the money for your library, then it's not up to the Washington Post whether you get one or not, what they're worried about.
If you can suck a con man's cock enough, you can get a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Can you imagine what the traffic is to the Clinton Library Massage Parlor? Not much, because you have to have a special admission ticket. That's not open to the public. You have a special little buzzer. You put in the palm of your hand, and you have to tell the right person, I'm here for visit the massage parlor. And if it buzzes, you get in. If it doesn't buzz, you don't. And no, I'm making that up, but wouldn't that be fun?
Nah, Rush, nah. Well, your fucking listeners believed you, I'm sure.
I don't think there's an Epstein wing. Jeffrey Epstein wing, the Clinton Library? No, not here. There may be a Clinton wing at some Epstein property somewhere. But
there might be a Trump wing at some Epstein property.
No, they're worried that it would become the biggest tourist attraction in the country. That's what they're worried about. And
No. It'd be just like the Ark encounter in fucking Whitley County, Kentucky. That shit would bomb. A bunch of dumb fucks would go and visit it right away, and it would seem like it was going to be this great success. But after a couple months, it'll be dead. He's not unintelligent. He is crass. The crassness is what I like. Fucking that was funny. The thing about the Clinton massage parlor was funny. That cracked me up. But he's a gigantic piece of shit. There was no redeeming quality about Rush Limbaugh other than the fact that, like, I guess he had a good voice. He can talk. I respect that. All right, that'll do it for me. If you are watching on Twitch, I'm going to send you over to my good buddy SJW9000. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin FREAKIN. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.